ones and twos. And I just come here to let y'all know it's about to get real filthy in this mother.
We're taking notes. All right, welcome to episode 45 of In Todd We Trust. You can access the website now at itwtpodcast.com for spoiler-free one-sentence reviews and movie ratings, episode descriptions, song of the week playlist, and movie soundtrack playlists, and a submission form to be a guest on the show. My current guest for today's episode actually submitted a form. She was already going to be on the podcast anyway, but she did go through the proper formalities to submit. So to anyone whose lifelong dream it is to be on the podcast, that is something that you can do, and maybe your dreams will come true. So just like Katie. So today I have Katie on the podcast. How are you doing today, Katie?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Katie is a fashion designer turned personal trainer / IG model.
I dabble.
Yeah.
I dabble a little.
How did that transition come about?
Well, I think it started, so I had no idea what I wanted my major to be in college.
Okay.
I was never one of those people that were blessed growing up knowing what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I went into fashion and I started designing activewear because I started going to the gym and lifting and kind of fell in love with it. So activewear went hand in hand, and then afterwards, after I graduated, I decided to be a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And I had just finished my first bikini competition.
So you think you're really pretty? No, I was kidding.
So you agree? You think you're really pretty?
Shout out to Mean Girls Day this past week.
We did. We watched it.
You did?
My sister and I watched it on the 3rd.
On the 3rd?
Did you watch it?
I did not watch it on the 3rd. I can still watch it, right? Can I still go and kind of retroactively celebrate Mean Girls Day?
It's not going to be the same.
Yeah. It is one of my favorite movies though of all time.
Oh, mine too. Yeah.
It's like one of the only movies I have actually on DVD.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, obviously I don't use the DVD, but like I have it.
Do you stream everything then?
Oh, everything. 100%. I don't even have a DVD player in this. Actually, I do right there sitting on the floor. My friend let me borrow it. Long story why I needed a DVD player, but I never used it. But yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off. So, did the bikini competition.
Yes. And then I became a personal trainer.
Right.
And then I started at a gym, didn't love it, and then started at another gym. So that's where we are today.
There we go. We're all caught up on Katie's story. Also a fellow Spartan, so go green.
Go white.
If you haven't already noticed, Katie has the highest voice, highest pitched voice, and the friendliest voice.
What are you talking about? This is my natural voice.
It's the highest voice of anyone I've ever met, and friendliest voice. Like, I'm not sure if you can be mean. I've never seen you be mean, but I don't know if I take it seriously. Like, I feel like I would be like, oh, she's just joking. Like, I don't.
I have been told recently that I have resting, smiling face, so.
I love that. I've never heard that before. Resting, smiling face. I would agree. I can't, picture you, being really mean to someone, or I can't picture you, yelling at someone, cussing someone out.
Oh, you should see me in rush hour traffic when someone cuts me off.
Oh no! Stop it! I can't picture it. When you start that sentence off, I thought you were gonna say you should see me in restaurants. I was like, whoa, what do you do in restaurants? Cussing the waiter out?
No. So I used to be a server.
Oh, okay.
I kind of still am sometimes. When I want to be.
Yeah.
But
good money.
I would never ever disrespect. Don't do that. They will they can do stuff to your food. I've never done anything.
Yeah.
But I wanted to preface it with that.
Okay.
But I've seen some stuff. So
I believe it.
Don't do it.
Here's the thing, and that's always what I think about when I go to restaurants. Naturally I'm not gonna disrespect anyone anyway. But if there's a person that I'm 100% not going to disrespect, it's someone handling my food.
Right.
Unless, obviously, if you're at a Chipotle, still don't disrespect them. I use Chipotle as an example because that's my favorite place ever. But because you're watching them, get out of here. I'm going to act like I didn't hear that so we can continue the podcast. But when you go there, obviously, you're watching them prepare your food. But you just don't want to be nice to them. But the people where you can't see your food, I'm just that's such a gamble. When I'm with people who are rude to... whether it's waiters or we're in a drive-through and they're being really rude for whatever reason over the mic, I'm like, yo, I don't even want food anymore. Like, because now they're going to mess my food up because of you. Like, I don't even, nope, I'm not getting anything.
Yeah, it's embarrassing too.
Yeah, it is.
You don't want to be, like, connected to that person.
No, yeah, I'm not with him. Yeah.
Right.
I would get out the car, I'll just go inside. I've done that before. Like, I've been in a car where someone was ordering and they were kind of rude or, like, just being silly or, like, just joking around, like, you know, like in high school. And I'd get out the car and be like, oh, I'm just going to go in and order because, like, they're not about to spit on my nuggets. Like,
right.
So,
that's smart.
Yeah. It's not worth it.
No.
You're also a huge fan of Halloween.
Yes.
You told me about the Halloween post. What was that? What did you dress up as? That was like a couple weeks ago. That was bomb.
So I was a witch.
Yeah.
And I just put together like a bunch of black clothes I have in my closet.
It looked legit. Like I was like, whoa, what it was. And then obviously, like we're not at Halloween yet, but what was that? What were you doing that day? Or were you just like normal Friday?
Just a regular casual Friday. You know, I just left a seance. So
love to seance.
No, I have this one photographer that I shoot with, and I actually, like, he's the only one I trust. Like, the first time going over there, I always bring someone with me.
Yeah, that's
so
smart.
any ladies that are listening to this, I always bring someone.
Always.
So I brought my boyfriend the first time, but he introduced me to, like, his wife and his kids
so it was
were there.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
I felt really comfortable.
Right.
You never know.
No,
but
you don't.
Yeah, so he's the only one I go to.
Got it.
And we decided to do a Halloween shoot, and it was really cool.
Okay, nice. All right, unless the whole family's in on it, which would be like even more twisted. But,
right.
You know,
Oh god.
No, bringing the whole family with you, or bringing someone with you is pretty smart. Do you think that this movie should have come out on Halloween?
I'm happy with the date it came out. I'm glad that it came out in October.
Mm-hmm.
At first, when I saw the trailer for it, I don't remember what movie I was seeing at the time.
Yeah.
But it was a preview, and I was like, oh, it's totally gonna come out like right before Halloween. And then it said like October date, and I was really happy.
Yeah.
So as long as it's in October, I'm
satisfied. I agree. I feel like it might have been like a little too corny if it would have came out like actually on Halloween.
I agree.
I thought it at first, and I was like, no, that's not a good move. So yeah, I think October makes sense. Something else that we need to address, I think it's the elephant in the room, is that you don't like Katy Perry, which we've had multiple conversations about because I am a huge Katy Perry fan. And I just wanna understand where the hatred came from.
I knew we were gonna have this conversation today.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have it because it hurts me because I do respect you and your taste for the most part outside of the Qdoba and then the Katy Perry.
I was gonna say Qdoba is so much better.
No, get out of here. So outside of those two things, I respect. So I just need to get to the bottom of this. You know what is it about Katy? Is it the way she spells her name? It's not like how you spell it.
I do think that's stupid. I'm sorry if anyone's listening to this and spells it Katy, but it's just like Catty. I will call you Catty.
Oh my goodness. I mean, are you jealous of like all famous Katys? Like,
I mean,
were you happy when Katie Holmes got killed in like The Dark Knight? Were you like, yes, like another Katie down?
Yeah, because like the Joker is the star of that movie, right? We're supposed to root for him.
I just don't. Do you like any Katy Perry songs?
No. Honestly, her most recent one isn't the worst thing, but I would never like download it or anything. I think
never really over.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
So that's the one that is out of all the songs.
It's like kind of catchy without being like too annoying.
You know what?
Never,
I'm gonna create a playlist for you of songs that I think you'd like by her that you might not have heard.
I mean, I know her lyrics are very deep.
Amazing.
Clearly.
They are. She's a lyricist. That's, she'll go in the Hall of Fame for sure. But anyway, just had to bring that up. So if you are a Katy Perry fan and you're listening like I am,
so we all agree Katy Perry is
it's amazing.
Right?
It's amazing.
No.
Please feel free to direct any hate towards Katie's
the real Katy
Instagram. Yeah. So feel free to comment and harass her this moving forward. All right, song of the week. Do you have one?
Yeah. So I used to like her more than I do now.
So Katie's song of the week is "Teenage Dream" by Katy Perry. No, just kidding. Go ahead.
That's a banger.
Yeah. I should have told you, hey, you have to choose a Katy Perry song.
Oh
okay.
God.
But go ahead.
So 11 Minutes by Halsey and Youngblood.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with that one. I really love, like growing up, I was an emo kid.
Okay.
So I know that you don't really know. I mean, I am wearing all
you
black
have all
now,
black, yeah.
but
No, I mean, I could put it together.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I love like the Blink-182, like
Yep.
AFI sort of vibes.
Yeah.
And this one that they did together is really nostalgic feeling. So it sounded like a Blink-182 kind of song. And
Okay.
I liked it.
Yeah, no, I put together now that, the 2 times that I've seen you outside of work, you've had all black on. When we went and did the Lululemon class, you had all black on then too.
And I did choose, they gave me a free shirt and it was black.
Did you get it? You got a black one? I never
did.
saw what you chose. They had a bomb jacket in there that I saw and I was like, I might just go in and buy this. It was like $300 something. I was like, oh, I'm out.
Yeah, I don't own anything from them besides like the shirt that they gave me for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta reach back out to them. And see like about coaching there, like even if it's just you, like I don't know if maybe it's through the edge still, but like even if it's just you, just so you can get some gear.
That'd be a really good idea.
Yeah, you should hit them up. Like she's really cool. So anyway, we can talk about that another time. But yeah, you surely should. Song of the week, mine is "Last Kiss Goodbye" by Haley Reinhart. So I heard it in one of my favorite tea places in town, Sweetwater's Coffee and Tea. So I like when places bring out like the teapot for you to like pour your own tea like as you go. So that's my spot. But anyway, I heard it playing there, so then I added it to my coffee playlist on my phone. But that's my jam this week. Are you a fan of jazz singers? Do you like jazz at all? I don't know if that fits your aesthetic, but
I'm not really too familiar with jazz singers, but I appreciate the genre.
Okay, all right. So
Do you
yeah, at
have
least
any
appreciate.
suggestions?
Yeah, so Esperanza Spalding is one of my favorite jazz singers, and thought about different style from this girl, but I just thought about it when I was like updating my jazz playlist as well this week. But yeah, I think that's a good one to start with. It's some good it's good music in general, but it's really good. I think it's great study music when you're doing something like that. Work music, just put it on the headphones. So yeah, check that out. All right, random rapid fire. So you brought it up to me before asking what the random rapid fire questions would be.
I hate being unprepared.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. This is customary for guests now. So let me know when you are ready.
I'm ready. Let's just get it done.
All right, let's do it. Were you afraid of clowns growing up?
No, I always thought they were annoying though.
Yeah.
I never understood why they were funny to some people,
Yeah.
or like why jesters were a thing for like royal families.
Yeah, I never understood the appeal either.
Yeah, but yeah, I mostly
Not
just
afraid.
think that they're annoying. I'm not really afraid of them.
That's fair. How much money would you have to be paid to be a clown?
Ooh, I get to choose any amount.
I mean, it's really like whatever the threshold is. Like, what's the lowest amount someone could pay you for that to be your profession?
Oh, to be my profession.
Oh yeah, like you're going around as like the Joker in the movie, like.
Oh man.
You're taking clown gigs.
$300 million.
$300 million?
Yeah.
No, I feel like
Dr. Evil when I say
yeah.
that.
I feel like we could convince you. If someone said $100,000, I feel like you take $100,000 to be a clown person.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But I got to pick the number.
Yeah, right. That's true. That's fair. Have you ever dressed up as a clown before? Period.
No.
For no occasion?
No.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know. I think it's kind of overdone. I feel like the killer clown thing is kind of like...
It is.
Yeah, I'm sorry, no shade at it, but it's a little bit like it's been done.
It's overdone, and it's to the point now where like you look like you might actually be a killer. Like if you it's almost like it's kind of creepy now. Like
do you remember a few years ago when those clown things were going on?
Yeah,
on the internet?
The clown things. Yeah, I do remember though. That was like a hot spurt. It's so funny like how some of those things like become really really big deals at the time, and then you just never hear anything else about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do remember that when people were like nervous about like if you see a clown, like roll your windows up. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? That doesn't even sound right. What else was I about to ask you? What question are we at? What's the worst job you've ever had?
Oh my gosh.
Shout out to whoever she's about to say it.
I've had a lot of bad jobs. Okay, so I worked at Mongolian barbecue in college.
Nice.
For like,
in East Lansing?
Yeah,
I
it was
remember.
the one that got shut down.
They got shut down?
It was the Okemos one.
Wait, when did that get shut down?
Like 2 years ago.
Wait, why did they get shut down? It's a better question because I ate there.
It was so bad. So yeah, basically, I think fraud was the reason they got
okay.
So don't be like too
Okay.
sketched out. Yeah, but
Okay,
there was
good.
a customer did find a rock in her salad, so there was that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with a little rock soup. All right. If you could go on any talk show, whose would it be? Besides the podcast, obviously. This is obviously your dream. But outside of talking to me, who else?
I love John Oliver.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I love him.
Yeah.
So yeah, John Oliver.
John Oliver. Okay.
I don't know if I would have anything to say on his show.
Yeah.
I don't relate to anything like that he would.
Right.
Any guest like he would have on.
Right. But it'd be cool to be
it'd
on.
be cool.
Get to meet
Yeah,
John
I just want to
Oliver.
talk to him.
When you go out, do you dance like the Joker? Like how he dances in this movie?
If I could, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I think he must have taken dancing lessons or something.
Something.
But
He
so
definitely
much
practiced.
finesse.
Yeah. Yeah, because I keep calling him Joakim Noah because that's a NBA basketball player, but Joaquin Phoenix, he definitely had to have. He really studied. I realized in this one, he really studied like some of the past, like the Joker from like the cartoon, like watching Batman the animated series. Like a lot of his motions resembled that Joker.
Yeah, you could tell that he studied a lot, and I think he did a great job.
Yeah, he studied a lot of past Jokers. Go to slushy flavor.
So I feel like they discontinued this because it's nowhere to be found. But white cherry was the best.
You know what? There has to be some white cherry. So I can't remember who used to have consistently have white cherry. I don't know, but you're right. I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
recently.
If anyone
I'm
out there is
looking for it
listening,
I don't get concessions often though. But
No.
yeah, if anyone out there is listening, please let us know where to locate white cherry.
yeah, DM me.
Man, I did wonder about that. Now you have me wonder. If you had to rewatch the same movie for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Mean Girls.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
You know what? That would actually be in like one of the top ones I'd say as well, because I do feel like I rewatch it all the time. That one, Just Friends with Ryan Reynolds, is another one of my favorites.
I've never seen that one. I'll
Oh
put it
my
on the
gosh, Kate,
list.
you gotta watch it. It's a classic, or it's a classic for me. That's definitely up there. All right, so I wanted to tell you. I know we chatted about it before. It's funny you asked me about it because I was going to tell you that I did start watching The Good Place. If any of you have ever seen it or heard of it, The Good Place, it's a funny show. It's a really funny show. But Katie mentioned it to me a couple weeks back and told me to check it out. And I want to confirm that it is funny. And
That's amazing.
I will let you know when I catch up so that I can watch like this final season going on right now. So it's season 4. Is it the fourth?
4.
Yeah.
I have to say too that The Good Place has a podcast. So
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's the Good Place podcast.
What do they talk? What do they talk about? Do they recap every
Basically,
episode?
the making of the show.
Oh, okay. Got
Yeah,
it.
and you find out that, spoiler alert, but
No,
the frozen
those-
yogurt that's on that
Oh, yeah.
show is actually mashed potatoes.
What?
That's not really a spoiler, but
Yeah,
you
no,
know.
it's not really, I was about to say, wait. I was going to say, don't say
I feel like
anything.
it could ruin it. Every time I look at it now, I'm like, oh, that's just mashed potatoes
That's
with food
funny.
coloring.
That
and,
makes sense, though. I guess that doesn't melt on set.
Yeah,
So,
that's
that
the
makes
problem
sense.
they were having.
Other completely random thing before we get into the movie. What are your thoughts on Tyga and Kylie getting back together, if any thoughts?
I have zero thoughts,
Zero thoughts?
or cares about either of these people.
I saw on me too actually, but just really I keep seeing it on Twitter and there's a lot of funny tweets about it. But wanted to see if you had any thoughts, but I don't have any thoughts either, so we can skip it.
Other than the fact that one Tyga song is in Parks and Rec.
Which one? I wonder which one. Which one?
Wasn't it the knees touch your elbows? Like bend over the knees touch your elbows. That one. Did you know what I was saying? You just wanted to hear me sing.
I just want to hear the full cover. So I'm gonna upload this podcast per usual to YouTube, and then I'll also upload a cover of Katie doing Tyga.
Along with the dance.
Yeah, along with the dance. Yeah, we'll just do a full music video. We still have a lot of daylight out, so we can be able to do it. All right. So, getting to the movie, the IMDb description for it is a gritty character study of Arthur Fleck, a man disregarded by society. I think that's a pretty accurate description. I mean, it's obviously very short, but it didn't really feel related very much to Bat. Obviously, if you had no background on Batman, it didn't really matter going to see this movie. So, release date October 4th. Notable cast: Joaquin Phoenix, like I mentioned earlier. He obviously likes playing these creepy. I won't say creepy because the other role isn't necessarily creepy. These like very isolated from society, like offbeat characters, because then you have like him in the movie Her as well. And then Robert De Niro is in this movie as the talk show host, and then Zazie Beetz is in this as well as his who I love her. I follow her on Instagram.
I have to say, she has the coolest name too.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like a DJ.
It does.
Zazie Beetz, or like a producer. But yeah, no, I love her. I love her hair. That's a very random thing too. But
she's
yeah,
just so like beautiful.
yeah, she is.
Yeah,
she's very naturally beautiful. I feel like she's one of those people who can just like wake up and it's just they're beautiful.
Right.
Like,
it's not fair.
No, yeah, she's amazing. She's in a couple different things that I really like. She was in Deadpool, which I feel like is really weird when I see characters from like DC or Marvel switch back over. I'm like, there has to be. Obviously, she's not a main character in either movie really franchise, but it's just like you couldn't find any other like actors or actresses. You had to like pull one from
right. Yeah.
And then she's also in a show called Easy that's on Netflix. That's a really good show, based in Chicago. Director and writer is Todd Phillips, who primarily has done comedies to this point. Very stark contrast to this film, but he did the Hangover series, Due Date, War Dogs, and Old School. So definitely very different from Joker. Runtime for the movie is 2 hours and 2 minutes. So before I go in and say some of my thoughts, what were your thoughts going into the movie? So before actually going to see, just looking at the trailer and hearing any feedback that you heard, what were you expecting?
So I did have high expectations just because anyone that follows Heath Ledger is gonna be like under a lot of pressure.
For sure. Yeah.
But my goal was to not compare them.
Yeah.
Which is hard to do. But so I would say that my expectations were pretty high. And I knew it was gonna be dark. I just didn't know how dark it was going to be, and that was basically the thought process going into it.
Right. So I told a few people this before going. I felt like it would either be really, really good or really bad. Is what I thought going in. The bad guy perspective, like movie thing, is interesting. It's done a couple times. Sometimes it's done really well. Like Venom, I thought was a bad movie.
It was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't think Venom was done well. And that's an example of them coming from the villain's perspective. I thought Maleficent was really good.
Yes, agreed.
Maleficent was really good. Looking forward to this new one. Wicked obviously is like the GOAT for this type of genre or subgenre. And that play is very good. Went and saw it in New York. And obviously it's been done like for years. They've been touring and stuff, so that's amazing. Episodes 1 through 3 of Star Wars, I guess you can consider that villain's perspective, or at least villain backstory. I don't know if villain perspective is the right way, but to see how Darth Vader became Darth Vader. Obviously that's a classic franchise that Disney I think is ruining, but completely not related to this. And then X-Men Origins, being able to see like it's a combination of Magneto and Professor X, like their backstory and how they came out. But Magneto is a very interesting villain, so it's cool to kind of see his backstory and how he became Magneto. But those are just some of the main ones that came to mind when going into this. So I kind of had that, like my mind set in that and like expecting something similar. I agree that we do need to move past Heath Ledger's performance, not in a disrespectful way, because obviously it was amazing. One of the best superhero movies of all time, if not the best superhero movie of all time. But I think you have to stop comparing. And I think that one of the main reasons you have to stop comparing is because there's so many creative ways that you can depict the Joker, which is evident in this film, obviously, which gives you more flexibility as far as, reiterations of him, and it can be good in its own right.
Right.
So I think that's a little bit more difficult with like Batman. I think Batman has he's a very static character. Like Batman is going to be like very solemn. He's like very smart and calculated and particular, and he's like a recluse. Like he's separated from society except for his alter ego, where he's just Bruce Wayne, where he's like this billionaire playboy. Right. Like that narrative is the same no matter who's playing Batman. So it's easier to compare Batman because you have the same thing. Where Joker, you have in this one you have like mentally ill Joker.
Yeah.
you have like in other ones, like maybe Gangster Squad, you just have like the guy who's just like a like more money motivated Joker, where it's just like he's like, you know, or whether like the animated one where he's just like putting on like bank heists and things like that, or just you have Heath Ledger where he's just like an agent of chaos, where it's just like very calculated chaos, just like proving that the like system doesn't work. So you have these different routes you can go where it's all very much the Joker, but it's a different approach. So I can respect that. Like Jared Leto or Leto, I never know how to pronounce
Leto.
it. It is Leto. Okay, I got it right the first time. He like I thought he did a good job as like gangster Joker. Like I thought he did a good job. It kind of got overlooked because Suicide Squad sucked, but
I didn't love it.
You didn't
it was
love it,
very like neon gangstery.
Yeah.
Which I like in and of itself isn't a terrible thing. I just from the Joker, I want to see dark. I want to see scary. Like I wasn't scared of him.
No,
you know, like
Suicide Squad was pretty bad. It was a bad movie. But he didn't get another chance or crack at it like any other version or like his own. Like I know there was like talk about there being like a Joker film. And I think they might have just been like, all right, you're not getting another shot. We're going some other direction. But yeah, so that was my thoughts going into it. Now, it sounds like we probably have differing opinions on the movie, which is good to talk about because I hated it.
Oh no, we're gonna argue.
I know. So this will be a Katy Perry argument all over again. But I thought it was really bad. That was really bad for several reasons. And you have your notes. So,
I do. I printed them out.
So you printed them out. So you're prepared.
I like to be prepared.
So the movie direction, I felt like it was a PS. It felt more of like a PSA for the mistreatment of people suffering from mental illness and extreme poverty, as opposed to, which doesn't necessarily make it a bad movie, but it's like this isn't like it's not a superhero spinoff movie. Like it's just very different. Like it felt like it had like an agenda to it, as opposed to just like this is not what I was going to see, I guess.
I can understand what you're saying.
However,
I think that the social commentary in it added to it. I think it served, like you have this guy who he's trying to get help. He's taking his medication. He's going to his therapist, even though his life might not be the best. He's still kind of trying. And then you have this breaking point where he doesn't get it covered anymore. Like they cut city programs, so he can't see a therapist. He can't get his medication anymore. And it's just, it's a comment on classism too, where the rich just keep getting richer and they don't. He said in the movie, like the rich don't know what it's like to be the other guy.
Right.
And I think that I liked that commentary because it kind of is a wake up call, hopefully, to some people. That some people suffering from mental illness, they may be trying to get help and just not able to. So.
Yeah, I agree, and I think I think that's a very important point. I guess, like I said, for me, it was just going in and not expecting that, or not wanting to see that movie for this, like, you know, for this one. But I think it is important. Like, I think it did a great job of illustrating how, again, with mental illness, how it's not sometimes this like big event that happens, like, you know, you have a parent that dies, or, you know, something tragic, you lose your job, and then someone snaps. But sometimes it's just like this chipping away that life has on your psyche, and then eventually it leads to like a big break or a snap or something like that. Right. So and sometimes, again, like with this one, was heartbreaking is that he was just trying to get help.
Right.
Like he truly was seeking help, and he truly was trying to take the right steps and take care of his mom, and you know, and society and life just kept beating him down.
Yeah, it was like every time there was one happy moment for him.
Yeah.
It was delusion, or it was just sucked away.
Yeah. Oh man, it was one part that was really funny for me, and you know, some parts you just feel bad laughing at, but is when he was talking to, and I'm skipping around a bit here, but when he was trying to convince Thomas Wayne that he was his father.
Oh my god, that was painful to watch. Oh
my god, there were so many. This movie had way more like cringe moments than The Little. But when he's in the bathroom, he's trying to convince Thomas Wayne that that's his father, and he's like, I mean, look at us right now. Like,
Yeah,
it is,
like Dad. Like, call him Dad.
It's like, look at us like it was a joke. Like, look at us like bantering. Like, and I was like, oh my god! I started laughing. And I was like, this is.
I had to look away. I was like biting my nails.
It was rough. It was definitely rough. I know like the epicenter for the movie that they tried to kind of build it around was the subway killing scene. So this movie, even though I didn't like it, it was very creative in the way that they told the story. Like as far as like, okay, it was slow. That was the thing that got me. It was really slow, which a lot of times superhero, like the first installment of a superhero franchise, like whether it's like the first Iron Man or the first Superman or anything like that, a lot of times they are slow. Like Batman Begins was kind of slow. Like the start, like they started. Also, Batman Begins was like freaking 3 hours, but
it was way too long.
It was so long, man. But they're a lot of times they're usually slow, and it's like, when are they going to become the hero? And obviously this one is like, when is he going to become the Joker? And it all kind of stems from the subway scene, where he kills the guys. And first of all, the one guy who he killed on the steps, he said forget his friends. He was out.
Oh, he was out. But his friends were dead anyway.
Yeah, they were.
I would run too. Someone has a gun, I'm out. It's every man for himself.
Wait, so you hear that, Katie? So actually, so Katie's sister is also here. Hey, Lauren.
Sorry, Lauren.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure you heard that you're on your own. If
I would be the first to die.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was hilarious. Also, how did the Joker have he had impeccable aim for someone who's shooting a gun for the first time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he didn't waste any bullets. I mean, at the end, obviously, he just like emptied the barrel in the one guy, but like
it was like he was made for.
He was made for killing it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he found his passion. That's one takeaway.
But he right before that scene, he had gotten fired. So I feel like that was an important part.
Yeah.
It was like when he snapped, like. He got fired and then he got beaten up again by these guys in the subway because of his mental illness again.
Yeah.
And at that point, it almost made you root for him. You were like,
I 100% was like,
yeah, like I'm sorry, I didn't care that those guys died. Like
no,
I was
I didn't
like,
care
oh my
either.
god, when the gun went off, like that may have been too far.
Yeah.
But also, it's not a loss really.
So be careful if you're with Katie and there's danger if she's gonna leave you. Also be careful if she has a gun, because I don't know about Katie, but no, I'm with you. I think that when you got to that point, I was so fed up of him getting pushed around that I'm like, okay, you start getting to the point, which is obviously the whole point of these types of films. Like I said, the villain's perspective is they want you to empathize with the villain.
Right.
So that's what happened.
Totally worked.
We're like, okay, come on, I want to see Arthur get some revenge up in here. Like, he can't get kicked around again, because the first scene when he's getting beat up for no reason, like the guys are just being jerks for literally. I mean, he didn't do a thing.
No.
And obviously with this one, you have the frat boy scene where they're in there, and obviously they work for Thomas Wayne. The thing I guess that bothered me about this being the thing that set off him getting like this like clown following and like the political commentary is that it was kind of sick. Like we empathized with it because we saw how the guys in the train were treating the woman who was just minding her business.
Right.
They're being really creepy. And then they just start picking on him, who he has a condition where he can't stop laughing.
Yeah.
And they just beat him up for no reason. So obviously we see how terrible they are. We want them dead. Again, that sounds horrible to say, but it's a movie, so it's okay if we want people to die in a movie. But for the public to rally around it, and all they know is 3 guys died who worked for Thomas Wayne, and that was kind of sickening for the public to rally behind it and not know the backstory. All they know is 3 guys died, and they were just happy that it was 3 rich guys that died.
Right. And
that can't happen with any side. Whenever there's a side of oppression and then the oppressor. You can't get to the point where you just want to see death or turmoil to the other side. Like, oh, that person has money, so like they're automatically part of the problem, and that's not always the case. In this case, those guys did suck, but I don't think that's always the case. So that was the kind of part where it was like, dang, that's kind of dark.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I also think that was the point, though.
Yeah.
Any extremist movement
It's true.
It's just not the right way to go. They always go too far.
Yeah.
And I think that it's easy for people to they want to put all the blame, they want everything to be black and white.
Mhm.
So when it's like 3 rich white guys die,
Right.
and then other oppressed poor people in the city are rallying together, it goes too far.
Yeah.
And then they start making signs saying like kill the rich and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Clearly that's not cool.
No, yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's not the right move. Obviously, but I knew Randall was gonna get the business too. The guy he worked with, he sucked. Who gave him the gun? Who like kind of set him up in a weird way?
That guy sucked.
Yeah, he was awful, and you knew early on he was gonna die. It was weird. Like he gave him the gun, and then he snitched on him. But I don't know why you'd give the guy who just got out of the mental hospital, who you think something's wrong with, why would you give him a gun with bullets?
Right. What did you think was going to happen?
That doesn't make sense. Like what? Like that makes no sense. And then you turn your back on him and then get him fired.
Yeah.
He still has the gun. You show up at his house.
Yeah.
You know he killed the people because you know it wasn't you. So if you know it wasn't you and you know it wasn't the guys you worked with, but it was a guy in a clown suit who had a gun. You know it's him, so you show up at where he lives,
right?
And you think you're going to confront him?
You're kind of putting yourself in a terrible situation.
Yeah, it's kind of compromising.
Asking for it,
yeah.
but I don't know. I don't want to misspeak.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, that phrase has bad connotation now.
Yeah,
but no, I get you though. Yeah, he that wasn't very wise on his part. But I was happy that he got the business. I mean, that was very gruesome how it happened.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I was.
Where did he kill him again? What was it?
Scissors.
Scissors. That's what he had. Scissors. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the friend. I felt bad for the friend who was there who couldn't get out.
I was so afraid for him. I thought that he wasn't going to let him out. Like I thought it was gonna be false hope and then just death.
I know. I didn't want that to happen because I was like, I still want to see like some like resemblance of this guy like having some humanity. Not that Arthur, again, not that he had no humanity. Obviously it was like a lot of people he killed. Like I mean him killing his mom was kind of like, I don't know, like she essentially they alluded to her having a lot of the same issues that he had.
Yeah.
Like whatever, her mental issues were, he just got as well. Now obviously he was dealing with some suppressed abuse, some child abuse. Mm-hmm. But, again, a lot of stuff like we saw that he was like daydreaming and fantasizing the relationship with the girl with Zazie Beetz.
Oh, yeah.
So when that happened, first of all, I signed off on the film maybe a little prematurely.
You don't say.
So I still stand
like you.
I still stand with it, but with not liking it. But at the point when he came back, when she first saw him in the elevator and she was like kind of flirting with him, I was like, no way. I was like, there's no way he gets her. And then when he came back to her apartment, they started making out. I was like, oh, I'm out. I'm done with this film. I was like, I'm so done with this film. Like, there's no way this guy follows her around town, right?
No.
And she finds out, and it's like, oh, that's cute. You're following me around town. Like, no, what? That's not.
Yeah, he says one joke, and she's like flourished
yeah,
by it.
Yeah, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I mean, what were you thinking at that point before you knew that it was an illusion?
I actually always knew it was
you
an
knew?
illusion. Yeah, I could just tell.
What?
I'm like, there's no way. I've
King
seen
can
enough
tell. I do
movies
not
where
believe
it's
that.
like, this
No
is
way.
Yes.
You did not, Lauren, did she know?
I
Ah.
totally called it.
Did you all go together?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I'm sorry. So I'm just stupid. So I didn't know.
Only a little bit.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So I didn't know. So I was pissed. I was pissed the whole movie thinking that he was dating her. And I was like, there's no way he gets her. Like, there's like, that just pissed me off.
No. First of all, she's way out of his league.
Way.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he was normal. Even if he was like, that's actually a horrible thing to say normal because he's just dealing with mental illness. But even if he wasn't dealing with a mental illness, there's no way. There's no way.
No.
And then no.
He has all the ingredients too. So he has all the ingredients to be like the perfect serial killer.
Oh, 100%.
Like he has like a history of child abuse, current mental illness issues, no father figure, a weird relationship with his mom.
Yeah.
Like everything just. And then I think seeing the progression, I really liked that. I liked seeing the descent into darkness, because
Yeah.
the problem, I love superhero movies, but
Yeah.
the problem with them is they always end the same way. Like,
Right.
the good guy always wins.
Right.
With these, there's more ambiguity, and
Yeah.
everything's not so open-ended. It's more unpredictable. So
Yeah.
I liked seeing that.
That's a good point, and I do think that again, it just felt so slow. But like, I feel like that all the action happened in the last 20 minutes. But I do like looking back at the film. I do appreciate, like, as days go by, I appreciate more like, that is interesting how they, like, even today when I was like organizing the notes, I was like, that is kind of interesting how they like set that up. Like, even though it was very slow how they set it up. How they just show like, okay, like like he didn't just jump into being the Joker.
No.
Like, he didn't just say, F it, I got fired. Like, time to rob everything, like, and like go
Right.
crazy and kill everyone. But it was like hey, you all made me this. Like, I'm not a killer, but don't push me. Like, that's basically the whole movie was that.
Right, getting beaten down
yeah.
again and again, physically, like literally, and
Yeah.
also like monetarily wise.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't rich, and
Yeah.
life wasn't dealing him any good times.
No.
No pun intended.
Right, yeah.
But yeah.
Oh man, yeah, he was struggling. His laughing condition, that was really cringeworthy.
Oh yes.
Like that when it's for the first time when he did it, like when he was what was the first time? Was the first time when he was getting his counseling session?
The first time was the opening scene, I think, when he
Okay.
was looking in the mirror.
Yes. It was just like, wait, what is it? I just didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
Which I think they obviously did that on purpose to, like, it took time to understand and realize like what was his condition, or where he uncontrollably laughs. But I thought that was a creative way to incorporate like some of the Joker's personality, or like what we've seen in the past of him always laughing.
Yeah.
I know, like in the cartoon, like he'd poison people with laughing gas until they died. So that was interesting. Where they'd like just uncontrollably laugh until they like suffocate it. But that was interesting that like in this one, that was his
Pretty
like.
hardcore.
I know, right? So maybe that'll be like the next one. He'll incorporate some of that stuff. But I thought that was interesting how they put that in a like real life movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Incorporated that.
Mm-hmm.
I am about to start handing out cards that say I have a condition to people when I want to laugh in inappropriate situations. Like there's so many situations where I just like you're not supposed to laugh, but it's so funny.
That is a really good point.
I'm about to start using that for sure. I want to see if it works. Like if they haven't seen the movie, I might get away with it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, or if they just don't
you
know
probably
me.
could have.
Yeah.
I would have believed it.
Yeah. I mean, you get a card, laminate it. That's
Right.
legit, right? Like
Yeah.
put a doctor's name on there or something like that. Like. My doctor actually growing up, his name was Dr. Todd, so they probably wouldn't believe me if I had Dr. Todd
That's
on there.
really funny.
Yeah. I do want to know too, like, okay, one of my biggest gripes of the movie, he has a limp. So explain to me how he has a limp, but every single time he runs, he's running like a 4.340 yard dash. I need explanation on his speed. Like the cops are chasing him, and like they're not even getting close to this guy. But he has a limp the whole movie. Like, as a trainer perspective, I need some.
I think I may be blind. I literally didn't realize he had a limp.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No.
did
See.
not.
All right. See. Now you're the dumb one who didn't realize.
how the tables
Yeah.
are turned. Yeah.
So yeah, he had a limp the whole movie.
Wow.
But
Okay,
yeah,
I can't explain that.
I need some backstory. I need to know, man.
He was
'cause-
just faking it, I guess.
yeah, and then like all of a sudden the dance moves bust out. He like did like 3 like pirouettes on the talk show. Like
So
what?
I have a theory on that.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So, as he descends more and more to becoming this character
Mhm.
that he thinks like his real personality is, he personifies it. So his dancing starts out really weird, like that scene where he's dancing with his mom.
Yeah.
That was like a little uncomfortable.
It's like, can she stand? Is he holding her up? Like I was, yeah.
And then, so I noticed in his delusions,
Oh, man.
he was much more like when he was imagining himself on the talk show, dancing and everything. The dancing was so theatrical, and then he put his makeup on in real life, and then just started doing that type of dancing. So everything was theatrics now. Like everything is this character that he's made come to life from his own mind. So that was kind of my take on it, but
You're wrong. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's good. No, I didn't even think of it that
Todd's
way.
so close-minded.
Yeah, right. you're a clown, so just stick to what clowns do. No, I didn't think of it that thoroughly, but yeah, no, I think that's probably true. That's probably right. Now I think back on the stuff that was like delusion that I didn't realize was at the time, like him dating the girl, which I'm about to go back and rewatch it now because now I'm gonna look at it through that lens.
I don't know if you can now reflect back to he's much better at articulating his thoughts in his delusions than he is in real life. And he also, when he was at that comedy club, everybody in his mind was laughing at his jokes. And obviously that was so cringy too.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
That was that. And then he had the Zazie was in the back, and I'm like, that's again where I was like, no way.
No.
Like I was like, no way she's there and like actually like enjoying this. No, when they showed they were playing his clips on the what's the guy's name on the show on Robert De Niro?
Maury.
Was it called Maury?
Yeah.
Okay.
Murray? I'm sorry, Maury.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a reality show.
Yeah, an amazing show, by the way. I do love Maury.
You are the father.
Yeah. Yes, okay. It is. I used to watch. They used to come on at like 2:30, and then 3 o'clock would be like Jerry Springer would come on first, and then Maury. College, every day that I didn't have a class at the time, I come back to my dorm and watch that. It's just trash TV, and this is so funny. Yeah. It's the same thing every time, though. It's the same thing. Like,
and then a fight always breaks out.
It's awesome. The thing about Maury that's so crazy is that he had like a 20-some season run. Like, it's like one of the longest shows.
Oh my gosh. And
it comes on Monday through Friday, and all he has is a lie detector and a paternity test. That's it. How do you keep a show going for that long off of that? It's the same thing every single show. Like,
honestly, that's impressive.
Shout out to Maury.
Yeah,
salutes to Maury. But back to the Joker. Yeah, when he was on the show, when they were on the show and he was playing clips of him at the comedy club, that was hilarious when they showed him say, what did he say? What was the line? And he was like, yeah, like people never laughed at my jokes. Now look at me. Like that was like how he ended the like stand-up. It was, I'm paraphrasing. And then just nobody laughed. Oh my gosh.
I felt bad.
I know. It was like one of those feel bad but you're still laughing. Yes. Like when someone trips, it's like, oh, I feel bad that you tripped, but I'm still gonna laugh at you.
And he'd like go to these clubs and he would try to take notes on all of these comedians.
Yeah.
And they were like basic things
that
anybody else would know. It was really sad. Yeah.
When his mom told him, "Don't you have to be funny to be a comedian?" When he was watching her.
Hurt. That cuts. That cut deep.
I was like, no.
I think Lauren and I both like our mouths dropped. Our jaws dropped.
He's like, honey, don't you have to be funny to be a comedian? And it's like while he's watching her, and it's like, how are you gonna disrespect me? Like while I'm taking care of your sick body, like I should just drop you in this tub right now. Like, and she was so serious.
I know.
This one made it even worse. Like my mom would say something like that to me, joking, like, "Oh, don't you have to be funny?" And then we laugh, and then I go on again. But she was being dead serious.
Yeah.
So bad.
Oh my god.
And when he was like lying to her, telling her like, "Yeah, the comedy's coming along. Like people are saying that like I'm gonna like
I'm ready for the big clubs." Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, so bad. But yeah, that was rough. And then when he was like daydreaming himself on the talk show before he actually was on there.
Yeah.
And like he called him down and gave him a hug and everything, and I was like, wow, it's just crazy to see like.
Did you believe the first delusion?
I did not believe that.
Okay.
No, I knew that.
I was gonna be like, come on, Todd.
I knew that one. I knew that one, and I mean, for a quick second, I was like, is he actually on there? But then I was like, I quickly realized.
Yeah.
But then I thought that was a good way for the movie to show like what kind of state he was in, and also for us to see, for us to be able to pick up on his mom's mental state when they were like when he was talking about Thomas Wayne being his father.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a part in there where you think, did that happen? Did Thomas, because they depict Thomas, which I'll get to that in a second, how it bothered me how they depicted Batman's family as like a horrible guy. Like Thomas Wayne just seemed like a horrible guy, right?
Yeah.
But how when that first came out and they're talking about, he sees the letter, Thomas Wayne's actually your father, and they covered it up and they used money to cover it up. Part of you is kind of torn, or at least I was, where it's like, is the truth? Like, did he actually, that happens where, where guys will pay off and you have to sign and she was talking about how she had to sign like a non-disclosure agreement to where she couldn't talk, and you're like, wow, that actually could have happened. because like he doesn't want to come out, he's married, all this stuff.
Right, rich people get away with a lot of stuff like that too.
Right. So part of me was wondering, like, is this actually like going to be something that DC works out? Which I was going to be pissed about if they're going to try to do the story where he's Batman's brother. I was like, that's stupid.
I said the same thing. I was like, I really hope that this isn't a thing because it's just ridiculous.
It's a stupid, like it is, and I was like, come on, guys, like DC, do we really have to go this far?
Right.
But you see that obviously it's not, because she was probably doing the same thing that he was doing with like Zazie Beetz, where he imagined this whole relationship, and even at the point where he goes to her apartment, she's like, can you please get out of my apartment?
Yeah.
You know, at that point, she probably did the same thing with Thomas Wayne.
Exactly.
But before that comes out, you're kind of wondering, like, is it true? So I think it is important to show some of these points, to show like where his mental state was, and see and draw the parallels between he and his mother.
Right.
Even though we don't get a ton of backstory on his mother outside of, obviously at the end it kind of comes out more, and I felt like some of the big reveals in the movie weren't as climactic as they were supposed to be or intended to be. Like, for me at least, like when that came out that his mom, maybe I was just so over the movie at that point that I was like, whatever. But like when that came out that his mom, that he was like adopted and abused as a kid, and I was like, okay, I get that was supposed to be like a big reveal, but like whatever. Like, and then like when he's on the talk show and like he shoots Maury in the head, and I'm just like I get that was supposed to be like a huge moment, but it just was like, I don't know.
Oh, really?
It didn't hit. The moment at the end, him on the car was that actually was like a really like impactful moment.
I loved the ending where he drew the smile with his own blood.
Oh, his blood,
I was
yeah.
like, that's badass.
Yeah. That was very like when he before he faces the crowd.
Yes.
That was really dramatic, and I think that
Theatrical,
part was
yeah.
it was, and I thought that was like a really cool part. That was a cool part. My favorite part of the whole movie, probably that really just embodied everything that I pictured the Joker being, was the subway scene when the cops are chasing him, and then he gets the clowns to beat up the cops, and he just like walks away, and it's like, and that's like kind of the start of him. Like obviously the revolution was already going on, but that kind of was the start of him being like the leader of the revolution, which he already was without people knowing who. They didn't have a face to it. It just was the guy who killed the guys in the subway. And then once you realize who the guy actually is, and he admits it then he has like this power of being like the leader of the clowns of the revolution.
Right. It's just like all throughout history, if you oppress enough people, there's going to be an uprising
Every
at some
time.
point.
Yeah. That's why you can't lead with hate. You know what I mean? Whenever you like lead with like hate or intimidation or fear, people always rise up. Like again, like you said, history repeats itself.
Exactly.
But yeah, I thought that part was probably my favorite part of the movie. My other favorite part of the movie was him dancing on the steps.
That was my favorite part.
That was amazing. That whole part, like I would go and just rewatch that part again. Like the way he moved his body, it just was so reminiscent of the Joker. Like I said, the Joker in like shows or like in like the animation, and like DC does a ton of. I love cartoons, but like DC does a ton of animation stuff still. Like where they'll do like Batman movies or like spin-off movies, or like they've done like The Killing Joke, like a Joker movie.
Yeah.
And those are really good. DC does a really good job with those. But
The Killing Joke, wasn't that a graphic novel? Or was it a movie too?
Both.
Okay.
Yes, they made it a movie. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it's on Netflix still.
I want to see it.
But yeah.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, DC. They, like I said, they do it's like adult cartoons, meaning that like they'll like cuss in them and like it'll be like blood in them and stuff like that. But it's really good. But in like the Joker in those, it's very much like the Joker that like he becomes at the end.
Yes.
Where it's very gruesome, like Joker's killing people. Like in the, you're watching like the animation cartoon as a kid, like they're not killing anyone in the stuff. You know, it's like they allude to it, but in this one he's like actually killing people. And then again, like the dancing, like the just sporadic dancing that embodies the Joker.
Right. You see him, this kind of shy, more timid, mentally ill person.
Yeah.
And then you see that part on the steps. That was, I think, his ultimate transition into the Joker at that point.
Yeah.
And they wanted it to happen with a bang, and I think that was a really clever way to add it in.
Yeah.
The dancing scene.
And I think that's gonna be like that scene right there is obviously the one that you've seen like a lot. I've seen a lot of like used as a GIF on Twitter a ton.
I love that. Yeah. You know how many memes are about to come out.
So many. I've already seen a ton before because like that one was in the preview, so I've already seen a ton like leading up to it.
Yes.
But I know we're gonna see a ton more. Just like people saying stuff that they do is stupid, and it's like, oh, I'm a clown, and it's like the gif of him like putting his makeup on the mirror.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That scene where he quit or he got fired.
Yeah.
And he walked out and he changed the one word on the sign or crossed it out. That's totally something that I would do. Totally something I would do.
Oh man, where'd you say your worst job was?
Mongolian.
Yeah, on your way out.
But they're closed, so I can't do that anymore.
That's like we had at my job I had in Chicago, the three of us that worked there, it would be days in general we liked our job, but it would just be days where we'd be like, oh my god, this sucks or whatever, and all of us actually ended up leaving the place in Chicago, but we're all still cool. And actually one of the girls, Paige, was on my podcast 2 weeks ago when I was in Chicago. But anyway, I say all that to say, one of the girls, Paige, brought in a sign that said good things happen here. It was like this huge sign that it was from something else. It was from, I don't know what she got. She's from Kansas. It was like a Kansas City sign. It's just a beautiful, colorful sign, and we just always laugh at it. Whenever it's a bad day, we just look and it good things happen here, in huge print.
I love that.
So that's what I thought of in this one when it's he's etching it out. Where it's days where we're we should just get spray paint to etch that out.
Yes.
Like I said, the Batman connection that bothered me a bit. I didn't like them villainizing, and that's a new word I just made up, so feel free to use it. The Wayne family, in order to justify or add validity to the Joker's point of view or his motives. Usually when you have these films where it's the villain's perspective, you're gonna see why they turn into who they are, but you don't have to make Batman's but now I look at Batman he's just a snotty nosed brat who just is oh, my parents died, so now I'm gonna beat up all these clowns. That's how this movie makes me look at this is the first time I'm ever being introduced to it. I'm not rooting for Batman.
No.
At all.
I agree. I think that it was kind of unnecessary to bring the family in at all.
Yeah.
The Wayne family. I didn't really understand the connection between that and the Joker movie. Especially because it's the Joker's movie, it's his origin story.
Right.
They left Harley Quinn out of it, thankfully, but they left I won't say too much about that now. But they left out everybody else, and I just
do you
feel
like Margot Robbie?
I do. I don't like how it was directed, and I like her in other things.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Yeah, and her depiction wasn't horrible. Yeah, but I just thought it was a terrible movie.
Yeah, so. It was really bad. I don't want to see this new
one.
Of Prey or whatever. Yeah, I'm not
yeah,
into that. Yeah.
It looks terrible.
It looks horrible. It's gonna be bad. It's some movies I look at, I'm like, oh yep, bad.
Yeah, exactly. And that one's gonna be a DC one.
Yeah.
This one wasn't.
Yeah.
But that one will be. So it's not gonna be great.
No. So what? Yeah, who actually did the? Because obviously it's a DC character, but yeah, I did see that DC didn't actually do this one, which is odd.
Yeah.
I don't know who did it.
I don't know what company.
It was a studio. They showed it. I just can't remember what the name of it. I should look that up.
I don't know. I should have looked that up too. I'm looking at Lauren do you know?
Remember?
No,
yeah,
none of
right?
us know.
Nobody knows. So Anonymous Studio did this one. But yeah, I didn't like how they did that. I'm glad that they didn't make Batman his brother. Because I was gonna be I was just gonna leave. If Thomas Wayne would have been okay, yeah, but don't say anything about it. I'd have been okay, I'm leaving. I'm getting up. But yeah, he in the young Batman scene, that just was kind of unnecessary, and it made is Joker 30 years older than Batman? It's
that's what I said. I was wait, I thought they were supposed to be the same age. This guy's 45, and Batman's 7.
Yeah, I'm man. I mean, it gave me perspective too. Man, when Batman was 20 something fighting, Batman's a loser if he can't even beat a 60-something-year-old Joker.
Right. He's so old at that point.
Yeah.
How is he gonna even fight you?
Yeah. I'm man, you suck, Batman. Your training is horrible. You can't beat a 60-something-year-old guy. Or the Joker's just in great shape.
Bring Superman in here.
Yeah, right.
Get the job done.
Right. Sheesh. But yeah, I thought that was the other thing too. Is this Joker? Although he's mentally ill and he's sporadic and kind of unpredictable, he's not the villain that, if Batman would have taken him out in 2 seconds. That guy can't. I mean, if he doesn't have a gun, he's not taking anyone out. He's not Batman would beat him to beat the pulp out of this guy.
I do think though that it was, since it was an origin story, it was like the startup.
Yeah.
So I think like eventually he'll get
Karate lessons.
Yeah, you know.
Like the whole next movie is him like training.
Taekwondo, yeah.
Could you imagine like him at like the local YMCA?
No,
doing
like a shooting range.
Oh my god, that would be actually hilarious. I don't know if it would get great reception, but
right? But
I'd laugh.
Maybe it's part of that like violent interior that comes out as soon as he has the makeup on. And,
he snaps. Yeah, so that is true. You know, because his origin story in the past, I've seen like he was this like horrible comedian and like low level guy, and then he falls into a pit of acid and then comes out. Like that's been the other the stories in the past for how the Joker became the Joker, and then that turns him crazy after he goes into acid.
Which I have to say I like this version of the new Joker better.
You're wrong.
I'm sorry to say that Todd's wrong. This is now Katie's podcast.
Yeah, this is Katie.
I know it doesn't flow as well, but the real Slim Katie's podcast.
The real Slim Katie, oh my god.
I'll figure out a pun. But it just showed that anybody, I don't want to say anybody could be this way because he was obviously insane.
Right.
But it showed more development, I guess. It was more in depth than just all of a sudden I fell in this acid and now I'm evil.
Yeah.
Like I think that's kind of cut and dry and a little bit overdone.
It is more development,
Yeah.
for sure. They spent a lot more time on it. I think to give the positives, my positives of the movie, the cinematography was great. It definitely was. It's definitely an Oscar grab movie. Like the movies you watch and you're like, okay, you guys are definitely trying to get an Oscar. Like,
yeah.
Which they likely will. Someone in this is getting an Oscar.
Joaquin Phoenix. I wonder how much.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah. Joaquin.
So not Joaquin.
No.
Well,
again, this is Katie's podcast.
You're still joking for me because it sounds like joking too, so it even is better. Yeah.
Right.
Joking Phoenix. Go ahead.
It sounds like a bird.
I know it does.
Anyway, I think. What was I saying? We got off topic. You're distracting me.
The cinematography. You said, an Oscar.
So I wonder how much weight he had to lose.
I know. I saw him on a talk show and I was like, whoa, buddy.
Yeah, like that scene where he in his the locker room and he took his shirt off. It was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, that gave me the chills.
Yeah.
I didn't like seeing him without a shirt on.
No, too skinny. It was creepy.
It just made me think about someone we were talking about before the podcast with his shirt off. It's just like some people shouldn't have shirts off. It was a lot of really cool shots. I did like the hospital that the Joker blows up, that Heath Ledger blows up, is the hospital that he goes to. And did you repeat that? Yeah.
Yes.
That, I like that they did that. And then also the ode to the Joker at the end when he's riding the cop car. Mm-hmm. And that's like the same shot. It's very similar to the shot of the Joker in the cop car with his head out from Dark Knight. So I did like they did those two.
Isn't that how he escaped in Dark Knight too? It's been a long time since I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, he got out of exactly. So that, I thought that was really cool. That it was like a subtle ode. Like I don't like when it's like really cheesy, like they say the same line as the other, but those are like very subtle odes to Heath Ledger, I felt like.
Yeah, and I also noticed, since I was a fashion major, the costume design is different for him. Like instead of the classic like green and purple suit, he had on like a more like maroon suit this time. So I
want to remember. I'm trying to see if he didn't have the purple. The Killing Joke, if from that, looking it up now.
Do you think that's the same one?
I can't remember. No, he had the purple.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I was picturing maroon. It's like a dark purple. Yeah, no, it's definitely purple.
Because I think there is one version of him where he is wearing maroon.
I do too, yeah.
It's the opposite though. It's like a maroon vest instead and like a different color jacket, and then this one was like a maroon jacket.
Is this what you're dressing up as for Halloween?
Do you know how many Jokers there's gonna be
this
year?
Too many.
Just
Way
like
too
Harley
many.
Quinn's the other year.
Yeah.
Too many.
My gosh.
Please don't do it, guys.
There's gonna be a ton. I can't wait to see some of them though, because it's a different type of Joker. I mean, just like it was a ton of Jokers in what was that 2008 when The Dark Knight came out and everyone was the Joker.
Yes.
It would be interesting to see this Joker with the suit, with the maroon suit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A nice cosplay idea.
Yeah. So next time you go photographer,
right?
Photographer. Can't wait to see that shoot. Like I said, the last 20 minutes though, I felt like were do you agree that is like the best
Most
part of the movie?
action-packed,
Yeah,
yes.
that was the best part. Again, like I said, it's not different from a lot of superhero movies where they don't get their powers or they don't become the hero until near the end. Which that's the same critique I give to those. Is that I just want to see more like the action. Like I want to see him like robbing. I want to see like the back half of the movie of him like robbing banks and like killing people.
Yeah.
And not just like still like this slow like when is he gonna crack? When is he gonna crack? When is he gonna crack? And then he finally cracks. I do imagine a second one would be better, although I don't think that they should make a second one. I think this is a better like standalone, let it be what it is. And especially when you don't want this running parallel to the other Batmans that they're doing.
Yeah.
DC's already having a lot of issues with getting like the right Batman, getting the storyline together. I think they need to take a break after Dark Knight, just let that sit and be what it is for a decade or so, and then just like the other ones, like let it sit for a while, and then 15 years later, then come back up with something.
Yeah, and I think that there's no like in the foreseeable future, like there's no sequel to it.
No,
so I
don't
hope
think
that they keep that decision.
I think they should.
Don't
Yeah,
ruin it. Just leave it.
I think it would be really weird what direction they'd go, because now obviously they've already shown Batman. In this one, so I mean, do you have to toggle back and forth between him and Batman? Does it become a Batman movie then? It just becomes weird.
It does.
Because like how much origin can you give to like he's already the Joker, like we get it. Batman's parents are already dead, like it becomes weird. So I think that needs to stay what it is.
I agree.
For this one, I thought that finding out that he was abused wasn't like as climactic as it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
That was kind of just like we already got that he already was like dealing with it. Like we get it, he has issues. Like that didn't like this kind of adds to like it, I don't know. What do you think?
I'm just gonna disagree with you.
Just
on
disagree?
everything.
No, you can. Please do.
I liked that because it kind of gave an explanation as to why, and then you found out that he had brain damage or head trauma because his mom's ex-boyfriend was beating him up. And
that did explain his body structure, and you were saying he was malnourished. That did give me a little explanation there, so I did appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked that part.
Yeah.
Did you think that they spent too much time on it, or?
No, I just felt like at that point it was like I was already we already got that he had a lot of issues, right? Like we already got that he had like a mental disorder. So it was almost something that like we could have introduced that a little bit earlier in the film. Maybe that's what it is. Like I feel like at that point, like we got it. Like he's already the Joker at this. Like he's pretty close to being the Joker at this point. So it just didn't add anything to me.
Yeah.
And the way they presented it, like some of the information that they presented in this was presented very like dramatic, like it was a big reveal, and it wasn't. It was just like, oh, this is another piece of information. I don't know.
Todd's not impressed.
Yeah, you all didn't get me. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. No, I'm kidding. But not. But yeah, no, I feel like in all, I feel like they took way too much time to get to the point in setting it up. I don't think that they should make multiple. Like I said, I think it should stay with one. I would have walked out if I wasn't reviewing it. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh no.
Yeah, I got to that point.
You are kidding me.
I was done.
I'm about to see it again.
Just to spite me.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know if it's my love for superheroes or if it's just like, I don't know. It wasn't for me. And like I said, I knew for myself I was either gonna really like it or not really not like it. So and went the other direction for me. I think that DC or again DC didn't do this one, but I think DC definitely needs to like needs a 7-year ban on like movies that pertain to DC characters. Like they need to take a break. They need to cool it.
I did think Wonder Woman was good. That was about it.
Wonder Woman.
Here we go again.
It wasn't for me. I wanted to like Wonder Woman. I really did. I really wanted to like it. Here's the thing. I actually started watching Wonder Woman one day, and then I was like, I'm not really feeling it. So then I took like a couple weeks, and then I went back, and then I was like, I'm gonna start from the beginning because I was maybe in a mood that day.
Yeah.
And then rewatched it from the beginning and watched the whole thing. This time I was like, oh no, that was right the first time. It's not good. I am kind of confused as to why they made this movie, though. And here's what I mean by this, and whether I thought it was good or not. It doesn't seem like something that will be a series. So I don't think they'll make any more. It's a different timeline, Then Dark Knight, again, with Joker being significantly older than Batman. So clearly a different timeline. And also Suicide Squad. So completely different from Suicide Squad. Actors, different storyline.
Thank God.
Thank God Suicide Squad was horrible. So I don't know why you create this one-off that's separate from all the other DC films that are in place, especially while they're still going on. Now, if DC hadn't made a film for, I don't know, like again, when Dark Knight came out, they hadn't really done the Batman series since like 94 or something like that. So if it had been that long of a break and then they came out with this Joker film, I think that might have made a little bit more sense. But since they have these other multiple storylines going on with DC already, it kind of like takes your attention away. It's like, okay, what are you all doing here? Are we doing this Joker? Are we doing Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, with Justice League? Like what, like, you know what I mean? Are they going to bring another Joker in here? Like Robert Pattinson's about to be Batman, so I'm sure a different Joker's going to be in that one. So it's just like, what do we, it's too much. It's like DC, figure out what you want to do. So that's what kind of confused me about them making this one. Especially when DC seems to be trying to mimic Marvel's formula that they have with Avengers, where it's like, hey, we have all these separate superheroes and then they all come together to fight this one thing, and we're going to do multiple that way. Since they seem to be doing that, it would have been weird again if Marvel would have had like a separate, like one-off, like random, like Thanos movie or something like that, right? It takes the attention away. So I don't know why DC would have done that with this.
Well, because I think since this wasn't a DC movie,
right,
and superhero movies have blown up like the past few years, I think that there's so much interest in the Joker that they just decided this is a movie that honestly is going to make a lot of money, and that was probably their way of thinking, even if it wasn't meant to be a sequel or a series. So I could see from that standpoint.
Well, from the money, money's always going to be
key motivator.
Absolutely. Do you think that if this film wasn't attached to an established brand like DC or a familiar character like the Joker or Batman, that it would have been as successful or in theaters?
No, because just because
you need that backing,
right. Nobody knows what he's about to do or become because it's an origin story, so it kind of ends before he does the most evil things later on to Batman. So I don't think it would have been nearly as interesting without that.
I was thinking that, like, I wonder if, because the film is so much not a superhero film or doesn't really harp too much on Batman. I mean, again, they bring it up a little. They show Batman times, but even if you didn't know that was Batman, just seeing that the story itself it's a standalone story.
Yeah.
So I just wonder if, again, if you don't know some of the other things that happen in the future, would it still have the impact? Which I think it still could have the impact for someone watching. I just think it wouldn't be like a box office hit, obviously.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's not a bad movie to make in theory. I think that, you make a movie drawing attention to classism and mental health awareness.
Also gun control too.
Yeah.
Like the rise in the mass shootings.
Yeah.
And everything, and it's way too easy to get a gun.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
You got a gun. So.
Yeah, that was a little. You know what? All the stuff coming out. And have you seen a lot of the videos talking about how this movie's not made for children, and it could incite violence or mass shootings and all that stuff like that.
Yeah, and I feel like that argument has been just beaten to death. Like,
I hate it. Yeah.
You don't just watch a violent thing and then decide to do that thing.
Exactly.
You have to be a certain person.
100%.
To do that, yeah.
And I'm just over like all the outlets. Like someone tweeted, like, you all like CNN, you all won't be happy until like someone actually like mass murders someone in the theater. Like, you all just keep bringing it up and talking about it. And I kind of agree. Like, wow, like, are you just gonna keep saying like, this movie could incite mass violence, this movie can incite mass violence, and then until someone does it, like...
Right.
And then I was in the theater even... Because of how twisted the movie is, I was sitting in the theater thinking, like, I wonder if someone is in here. Like, kind of like, they've got me in the back of my head. I wouldn't even thought that going into the theater. I mean, I know that there was the mass shooting in the theater during Dark Knight when that came out.
Yeah, that was
in the theater
so scary.
In, like, Colorado, was it? Or something like that?
I think so.
But yeah, but at the end of the movie, I was thinking, like, oh man, like, what if someone... And I'm like, wow, I'm letting CNN get in my head now.
Yeah.
CNN. I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, what would you give this movie on a scale of 1 to 10? I know we're going to have far different ratings. I know I've had pretty close ratings with my guests for a lot of the films, like the last like 10 films, I'd say like probably like 7 of them we've had like either the exact same rating or like close. But
not this
we have
time.
Katie on here.
Here we go. I'm gonna give it a 9.5, 9.5.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my lord.
I'm sticking with it.
I gave it half of that. I gave it 4.8. Almost exactly half. But yeah, I gave it a 4.8. Yeah, it just wasn't for me. I think this is gonna be a film that I think is gonna have a strong line, like dividing, like either you're gonna like it or you're not. I think. I don't think there's a lot of in between with this one. And I felt that, like I said, from the beginning. Look at the trailer. So I know you're interested in this because I was gonna say, would you suggest someone go see it opening night, $5 Tuesday, Netflix, or don't watch it all?
I'm always gonna suggest $5 Tuesday.
Okay, that's smart. Yeah,
save money.
The economic route.
Yeah.
I would suggest don't watch at all. You know, just save your time,
By
save
that
your money.
he means watch it every single day.
What's funny is I might rewatch just to see if I maybe it goes up from a 4.8 to a 4.9 after rewatching again. But I might check it out. Upcoming movies, you got any that you're excited about?
We're not gonna agree again. But Wonder Woman 2 next July.
That comes out next July? Okay. I'll go
so
see it.
It took a long break in between those. I think the last one was like 2017.
Was that? Yeah. Okay.
It's like 3 years. And then also Zombieland 2. I don't know if it's gonna be good, but I liked the first one.
I kind of felt well. I know you actually asked to be on the podcast for Joker, but I'm gonna review Zombieland 2.
Yeah.
I actually got a ticket to go see a pre-showing free. And I haven't seen the first Zombieland, but I'm gonna watch it. But I'm gonna review that for Halloween probably. And I was like, oh shoot, I should probably ask. I'm sure Katie likes Zombieland. And
yeah.
I am excited for the new, or not excited. I'm looking forward to watching the new Batman whenever that comes out with Robert Pattinson. I want to see if that's going to be any good. I am nervous about it, but we'll see if DC can get a win.
I'm curious.
Yeah,
though, so
curious.
I'll
Yeah,
probably
that's the best way to put it.
On a $5 Tuesday, though.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, that is all I had for today. Did you have anything else, Katie? Katie Potts?
That's about it. Definitely see this movie. Todd is wrong. And
I've been telling people though, this is a film that I have been saying, and I'll say this about every film that I don't like, obviously, but I say go see it. Like when people are asking me, hey, what do you think? Because I posted on my story that I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I didn't like it, but I like go see it. Like I could be wrong because there's a ton of people who like it. So, and I know that like there's a lot of times where I have opinions that aren't like the popular opinion, or it's like 50-50. So it's not. I don't think it's one of those like universally like everyone hates. Obviously, like it's breaking records. People are liking it, getting a lot of great reception even before it came out to the public. So go check it out because I would love to hear your perspective. So that is all. Thank you for coming up on the podcast.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Last time. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was good. It was good. All right, everyone. Until next week. Peace.